Doc, people listen to us for nonsense, and we give it to them in spades. Nonsense, nonsense, nonsense. Some would even say, on our best days, malarkey. Braves, defending champs. Boy, it sure would be a shame if there was no season next year and we were just still the defending champs.
Also, this guy that got hit, how old was he?
46.
What a loser, just sissy man. You just got punched in the face by a 90-year-old man? Come on, dude.
I'll bet Doc is like the Sinbad of Ames, Iowa.
Oh,
because people, I didn't realize, I thought it was just a Doc thing with the corn jokes. Iowa people love corn jokes.
Well, you know what they say, knee high by July, baby.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that's killing in the Midwest right now. I'm sure when that hits their ears, they're like, that Doc, he gets us.
Doc, what do I love more than anything? That's right, an angry football team.
I prefer to think of Warsaw as like a battle of who's the best saw, right? So you have like a sawzall, you have a skill saw, you have a hacksaw, handsaw. It's just a battle of saws to the death. Welcome to the Spaghetti Junction Boys podcast. I am hosting tonight, and that is the one, the only Doc Jacobson. And I'm joined by Ben Ralston. Glad to have you in. You know, Brick Wall Ben, that's what we're going to call you. Love the background. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good. Feeling, I'm on a heater we'll talk about later. Slight heater. Trying to turn it up a notch with the picks this week, but glad to be here, Doc.
You're just creating an empire brick by brick, right?
Yes, yeah.
All right. Well, let's get started here. Spaghetti Junction Boys is supported and brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped Performance Package, the ultimate in men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer to you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code SJBAtlanta at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 8 million balls. We were sent packages from Manscaped for our packages, including this was the one, the only Lawnmower 4.0. This trimmer is the future of grooming and features the cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin care technology. I like it. Skin safe, that is trademarked. DM up there. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and also has a 400K LED spotlight. You need a more precious shave. If you're anything like me, you somehow still have shaving remnants from 2016 somewhere in your bathroom. We'll look forward to the waterproof technology, say goodbye to the mess on the bathroom floor, and say hello to a cleaner, fresher shave. Thank you, Manscaped.
That was beautiful, Doc. That was beautiful.
That one stumble, but hey, fall, get back up. Who cares?
Yeah, I still loved it. Well, if y'all are listening to this on Friday or over the weekend before the college football kicks off, hopefully the Braves are up 2-1 after some pretty exciting Game 1 and Game 2 action. Almost came back in Game 1. Max Fried just didn't have it. But in the midst of playoff baseball, something baseball related was making the rounds on the internet that you and I wanted to dive into, and that was Babe Ruth's diet. Q sent this to us. It was just a tweet from a paragraph in a book. There is no context on when this was his diet, which I think is the most fascinating part, but I'll outline it for you here, and then Doc, I don't think you could do this, but I'd like to hear how close you could get. Started off in the morning with a pint of whiskey mixed with ginger ale, and then a steak, 4 eggs, fried potatoes, and an entire pot of coffee. I mean, that alone is an entire day for me.
To wake up with a pint of whiskey to be the first thing that you just shove down your gullet, I mean, that in and of itself is a challenge. I mean, I've done, the breakfast of champions, chug a beer when you get up, but a whole pint of whiskey is absurd.
It seems to me like the ginger ale is unnecessary.
That's like when you're. That's basically just a whiskey version of a Long Island iced tea. They just put that little splash of Coke on top, just a little splash of ginger ale.
If you're drinking a pint of whiskey that often, like I just feel like you would like the taste enough, I would think, to not need the sugar with the ginger ale. And the coffee's black, right?
Coffee's black. Oh, the other thing too is ginger ale back there actually had real natural ginger in it. So it was not like a suppletive or, flavor adder. It was actual ginger. So it might have been just to calm his stomach from being a severe alcoholic.
Well, so do you think the coffee was necessary to kind of bring him back to life after the whiskey?
Yeah, I'm gonna say whiskey to get the shakes out, and the ginger to settle the stomach, and then coffee to sober him up.
Yeah.
He's basically just a 1919 version of Jordan Belfort from Wolf of Wall Street.
I mean, mixed with Elvis, like there are like lots of Elvis kind of things in this diet. So next he'd go to his afternoon snack. He'd have 4 hot dogs, each with a bottle of Coke. Bottled Coke, I think, was smaller back then, so it's not like your 12-ounce can. Did you do any research on this?
No, I did not, but I do believe you're right because I've seen the old school glass bottle of Coke, and they're not 12 ounces. I think they're 9.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And the hot dogs back then got to be better for you than today. Probably less chemicals jacked in there, less fillers.
Was this where Coke had Coke in it? Was he just seriously just on drugs?
No. I think Coke stopped that in like the 19th century. I don't know. Again, I did no research for this. But
we need to put something out that just breaks down the calories on this. It's absurd.
Yeah, it is kind of a bit that I would like to do a lot more research on. Both calories, finding out, pinpointing when exactly in his life this was this something he did on like a Saturday only? There's no way he did this every day. I think a lot of this stuff with Elvis too gets blown out of proportion. Like maybe they ate this extreme sandwich or had this crazy day once, and then like history remembers them as doing it constantly. I don't know. Maybe that'll probably be my first question when I meet Babe Ruth and the Great Beyond. But
I mean, you might just be Benny the Jet and have him as a flashback.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, you go through this diet, you're gonna be seeing Babe Ruth one way or another.
I do think the sodium and the alcohol and the amount of things you'd throw in your body with this diet could cause hallucinations. That is not a medical opinion. I have no. It just seems like this would alter your brain chemistry.
It would alter something. I mean, you want to talk about unit? Babe Ruth was a unit, and now we know why.
Yeah. So moving on to early supper, he had 2 porterhouse steaks with 2 heads of lettuce drenched with blue cheese dressing. I felt like in the clip from the book, the adjective drenched or adverb drenched was a little unnecessary because given the rest of what he was eating, I assume it wasn't like dressing on the side. Obviously it was drenched.
I think a better word would have been like dunked, right? Like you just take a whole head of lettuce and just dunk it into a vat of blue cheese.
And then he followed up with some more cottage fried potatoes and 2 apple pies. This is where it starts to get a little too extreme for me. 2 slices of apple pie, maybe. There's no way he ate entire pies. Or maybe they're like the McDonald's pies, like the handheld things. There's no way he was just housing entire pies at that point. I've actually called bullshit on this whole thing. Can I just say that? There's no way a man could physically do this.
And like a daily diet, right? Like every day? Like, no way.
Because then it goes on to say, like, I don't even think he could do it once in a day.
I mean, if he was Michael Phelps, right? Didn't he have like some crazy 7,000 calorie intake thing before he'd go into swim races? Like, if he was doing something like crazy physical exertion, maybe. But he's playing baseball. Yeah, he's playing baseball.
Yeah. Baseball in the 20th century, no less. Like, that is like the laziest activity on earth. It's like me saying I exercise because I played golf when I just rode in a cart and swung it like minimal times. Like, that is not exercise.
I found out 6.5 ounces of Coca-Cola in the bottles back then.
It's like less egregious, but still. So anyway, to have a post-supper snack of more hot dogs, 4 more hot dogs and 4 more Cokes. How on earth would you be able to sleep at night after this with that much caffeine, that much sugar? Again, I call BS. And I'm going to find out what book this was in and bring this whole thing down. Like Million Little Lies on Oprah. Expose this author for the fraud they are. There's no possible way. I would need citations. You know what? I need video proof. That's the only thing that'll convince me.
I mean, the one that really just threw me for a loop was the 2 steaks and 2 heads of lettuce. I mean, that is so much food to do twice. Early dinner and a late dinner. Like, just absolutely absurd.
Not even to count like the butter that I'm sure the steaks were cooked in or the potatoes were cooked in. Like, I feel sick just thinking about it. And so go ahead.
I've got to imagine, like you said, too, the apple pies are like a McDonald's apple pie, like the single serving kind of like turnover more than a pie. I mean,
no. This makes me sick, and for that reason, I want to move on.
Yeah, we'll give you a calorie breakdown, and I really want to do a breakdown on all that. So look for that on Twitter here in the next couple of days.
And look for Doc to attempt the Babe Ruth challenge on YouTube live Sunday at 1.
Not Sunday, maybe in a couple of weeks. I need to, like Joey Chestnut, drain my body of everything and train for a little bit before I go into this. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be crazy here. I can do it. I think I can do it. I think I can do it. You give me a whole day? A whole day?
Obviously the whole day. I guess the whiskey would give you the munchies, maybe if you were able to stomach a pint of it.
And you get up at like 7 in the morning. God,
he was not. Part of this diet was like he was not able to sleep, so he was up like my granddad at like 4 in the morning.
Yeah, just slugging.
Yeah.
I need to put some thought into it, but I think because if you have your early dinner at like 4, and then your late dinner at 9, I mean that's 5 hours. You're digesting.
But then you got to eat the hot dogs post late dinner. Yeah,
the fucking hot dog. That's gonna be what kills it. Is the guy?
And you have to finish by midnight.
I gotta try it. I'm in on it. All right, we're gonna make it happen.
Hell yeah.
Okay, well, let's get into Gambling Dan's. I unfortunately I went 2 and 3 last week, but I did hit my whammy. So I've given you 2 back-to-back whammy hitters. Love it. Ben, you're having a hell of a streak right now. So why don't you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah, 3 straight weeks in which I've picked. Obviously, I missed 2 weeks ago, but 3 and 2 and 3 straight weeks. I hit my whammy this week. So I'm feeling good. I'm really seeing college football well. You know, the one of the losses, the one I will apologize for, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma might have been the worst pick in the history of picks. So I will apologize for that. And maybe that pick alone wipes away the goodwill I earned the last 3 weeks. The other one, though, like Georgia covering against Auburn, it just never felt like a cover game until Auburn kind of just gave them the cover. So I will not apologize for that, but I will, to the listeners, apologize for Oklahoma. And I will be seeking an apology from Brett Venables because I feel like he needs to apologize to me for the reason I'm apologizing to y'all.
Fair enough. All right, we'll just run down the records here real quick because we are in 7 weeks of betting here, week 6 of NFL. I am 14 and 19, not great, but 3 and 4 on whammies. And I am down 6 units on the year, so we're going to come back there. Q is 17, 15 and 1, 3 and 1 on whammies. He really likes kissing his sister. Let's hope he's not listening, but he's up 2 units. And Ben is 11 and 9. You reverse those numbers. That's my birthday and Q's favorite holiday. But that's a joke. Don't listen here, friends. Ben is 2 and 2 on whammies and up 2 units. So, Ben, do you want to kick it off or you want me to go?
I'll kick it off because, again, I have a couple I'm feeling pretty good about to start. First, I think we've learned while Penn State handled Auburn. I just don't know if we know enough about them. They have a great running game behind the freshman, forgetting his name. But Michigan, I think last week was kind of an anomaly. They lost Mike Hart, their coach, in kind of a tragic fashion at the beginning of the game. So I think a lot of their mental energy was not focused on the task at hand for obvious reasons. And our thoughts go out to Mike Hart. I think he's in stable condition. But I really like Michigan to kind of send a message this week. I think J.J. McCarthy is an elite quarterback and is getting better each week. So give me Michigan -7 against Penn State. The next one, I don't care about Bryce Young. I truly don't. I think Tennessee's offense is so exciting and puts so much pressure on opposing teams that even if Bryce Young is in this game, I really like Tennessee to keep it close. So give me Tennessee +7.5. And Neyland is going to be absolutely bonkers, which even Bryce Young at the helm, I think it's close for that reason. If Bryce Young doesn't play, give me Tennessee outright.
Gotcha. Yeah,
that's a bonus pick.
Those are good picks. I like them. Michigan is one of my future teams to make the playoffs, so they're riding high. I like them. They just got to beat Ohio State, and they'll be sitting right there. And my future hits. All right, first two picks here. I'm gonna give you Chargers -4.5. Chargers are on Monday night at home hosting against the Broncos. The Broncos defense is statistically one of the worst defenses in the NFL right now. They can't stop a nosebleed. Russell Wilson looks like Jeffrey Dahmer out there getting people tied to his bed and eating sandwiches, ask him how dangerous they feel. He doesn't look dangerous. He can't throw a football more than 25 yards right now. The run game is terrible. They lost Javonte Williams for the year last week. I mean, he is just banged up, nicked up, done. This offense is putrid. The defense is even worse. Give me the Chargers by 1,000,000 here. Pick number 2. I've got Minnesota, Miami under. We all know what's going on in Miami. Their quarterbacks can't keep their heads off the ground like they're little babies in a crib. Got no neck strength. They're all getting concussed. They're all knocked out. I know Teddy Bridgewater got knocked out last week. Tua, we know we've been following that story. No ill will towards them. Want to see them recover nice and well and maybe make this team competitive again. But they are not going to be an offensive powerhouse now. They've got all the weapons in the world, but if you don't have a quarterback to put the ball out, that's like having 2 balls in basketball. You just can't do it. It's not going to work. Miami's going to be hamstringed here. Minnesota, they're just going to limp through like they normally do, win this game. It's going to be a 17-14 win, Minnesota with a field goal on the road. They'll have some cramping issues because they're down in Florida and it's getting cold up in Minnesota. So I just don't see this one going very deep into the scorebook. So give me the under 45.5.
I like it. Again, I'm staying in college. I feel like I found a little bit of a comfort zone there. I probably watched most of my football in college. So another team to that end who I think we've seen Jekyll and Hyde from Florida, especially Anthony Richardson this season. I don't know whether Tennessee was a product of like him turning a corner or maybe Tennessee's just weak secondary. But I do think LSU really has reinvigorated themselves post Florida State. I really liked how they looked against Mississippi State, who I think highly of. So I like LSU to go down to Gainesville and make that a close game. So give me LSU +3. Staying in the SEC, Mississippi State, like I just mentioned, a team I really think is strong. Mike Leach does what he does on offense, but I think their defense does not get enough credit. So I don't know. Obviously, last week, Will Levis was out for Kentucky, but they looked kind of generally sluggish against South Carolina. South Carolina pulled the upset. Shane Beamer had some words for Mark Stoops afterwards. I don't think that really matters this week. I just think Kentucky's on a slide, and Mississippi State kind of is not a great matchup for them, even if they were coming in hot. So give me Mississippi State -4 to kind of win by that 10-13 range in Lexington.
Right on. I like them. Pick number 3 here. I'm going to give you the Bengals -2. They're going to the Saints. Saints are dinged up. They don't know if Michael Thomas is going to play. They don't know if Jarvis Landry is going to play. Kamara's been dinged up. Jameis Winston still questionable. Taysom Hill had a very nice game last week, but I don't think he's going to be able to keep that going. The Seahawks just are a god-awful football team, so I don't take any solace into the 7-point win that the Saints put together last week at home. They're at home against Cincinnati. Cincinnati just lost a nail-biter to the Ravens. I was at that Sunday night game last week. Hell of a game. I mean, their offense was just off a little bit, so they get that offense clicking. They're going to be unstoppable. The Ravens were just playing really good defense. I don't see the Saints coming out here, so give me the Bengals -2 here. Joe Burrow's just got to right the ship. I mean, I keep betting the Bengals and they keep losing. At some point, it's got to hit. I mean, they're still going to be a Super Bowl contending team, I believe. They're going to make the playoffs. They will be okay. They need this win to start getting back on track. So I think it's going to be a big statement win for the Bengals. So -2 is kind of a little sussy, but it's all right. Pick number 4, Seahawks +2.5. Yes, I just ripped them a new butthole in their game at New Orleans last week, but they're going against another poor team, and that is the Cardinals. Yes, Kyler Murray. Yes, we can talk about Cardinals all day. Cardinals have won some close games, but I like the Seahawks here as a home dog, +2.5. Quest Field is going to get loud. That 12th man's going to be hopping. It's a big rivalry game in the NFC West. I think the Seahawks, Geno Smith, they come out here. I mean, yes, they lost Rashad Penny last week. They'll be okay, though. I mean, they just got to make some short, flat route throws, some quick outs, keep Geno Smith happy, confident, healthy, and they win this game by 7. This is a Vegas whisper line all the way.
Well, I've got another Vegas whisper line for my whammy that I'm going to ignore at my own peril.
Love it.
TCU, I like what Sonny Dykes is doing, but they should have lost to Kansas. I believe that wholeheartedly. Kansas loses JD 6 early in the game, but backup quarterback Bean comes in and looks pretty good, throws 2 touchdowns pretty shortly thereafter. I never saw anything from the receiving core and Max Duggan of TCU are exciting, but I never saw anything from TCU where I thought, hey, here's your Big 12 champion outright. Like, they're going to be a favorite in every game they play. In fact, I saw the opposite in another game from the Big 12, Oklahoma State and Baylor. I really like Spencer Sanders. I think this team is tough. So Vegas comes out with a line, TCU -4, and I just kind of scratching my head. I don't see it. I really like Oklahoma State to win that game outright, or at least not let it get away from them. So give me Oklahoma State +4.
I like it. I mean, Oklahoma State's kind of a juggernaut. I agree with you. TCU can run. They can score. We saw what they did against Oklahoma, but Oklahoma's defense is so bad. It's kind of a mute point.
Oklahoma should not be the measuring stick anymore. I don't know what's happening in Norman, but it is good.
Neither is Texas. Go to the SEC. The Big 12 doesn't want you. Fuck off. Yeah. Sorry, I'm still mad about that. I will forever be mad about that. They are my new hate teams, and Nebraska's sliding down to a 1C. There's A, B, and C now on my list of hate. Anyways, all right, let me give you my whammy here. I've hit the last 2, so got you up there. I just really saw this line and go, how does this not hit? Over Kansas City, Buffalo, 430, 54.5. 54.5 points. I mean, you don't see this being a 35-28 game. I mean, come on. It's going to just be a shootout. Bills are kind of not struggling offensively, but they haven't been clicking on every cylinder. They got to come into this game, get right, go against the NFC or the AFC's best. I mean, remember what happened in this game in the playoffs? Went to overtime. It has like 1 million points scored in this game. I know, different teams, different everything. Both teams are relatively healthy. Both teams are ready to kind of assert their dominance in the AFC. And both teams' defenses are good against the run, but a little spotty against the pass. So I think here is just a very good time to see just what the NFL wants and what the NFL has been curtailing the game towards for the past 20 years. And that is just air raid West Coast offense. Let these QBs throw the ball to have 500 passing yards. It's just going to be crazy. I mean, it's going to be a shootout of all shootouts. No rain, no nothing in the forecast. I think this just goes. I mean, I can't see this not hitting by the third quarter. I mean, it's just got to go. So give me that. Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs over 54. Well, thanks for tuning in today. You can catch us at Spaghetti Junction Boys on all platforms is at SJB Atlanta, at SJB Atlanta or Atlanta.com is our website. Spaghetti Junction Boys on YouTube. Ben is not on Soch, but maybe we'll get him to change that this year. Who knows? Follow me, SJB Doc. Follow Q at SJB Michael. We're here. Send us some questions. We don't mind throwing some things on the show. We're happy to do it. So everybody have a good weekend and place those bets and make that money.